Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be telling you about some of the weirdest laws that I found on the internet. So recently I've been quite bored and I've just found myself scouring the internet for hours on end, and I've came across videos, blog posts and internet sites telling me about the weirdest laws that are all around the world. So I thought, why not make a video about it and share them with you guys. So I've screenshotted a few of my favourite ones and I'm just going to fire them at you. Pew pew. Apparently, Canadian radio stations have to be patriotic. So the Canadian law states that radio stations have to play 35% of Canadian artists. So that means that the Canadian population hear a lot more of Justin Bieber and Celine Dion than me and you do. In Germany, you are not allowed to run out of petrol on the highway. If this happens, then you are going to find yourself with a hefty fine of 100 euros. This is also the same outcome if you're caught walking along the highway in Germany as well. As long as you don't run out of petrol and don't walk along the side of the highway, then you are absolutely a-okay. In Spain, it is a criminal offence to drive with sandals or flip-flops on. This obviously isn't advised anywhere in the world, but in Spain, you're going to find yourself with a fine. In Greece, it is illegal to wear high heels on historic sites. And this is because the Grecian government is scared that high heels are going to be ruining these ancient monuments. So if you find yourself wearing high heels on places such as the Acropolis, then you can be expecting a fine. In Singapore, it is illegal to chew or sell gum except for medical purposes. But even you're not safe then, because if you're exempt for medical purposes but you're still caught chewing and spitting it out in public, you can still find yourself with a really steep fine. In Japan, being overweight is not okay. Lawmakers set a maximum waistline of 80 centimeters for men aged 40 or over, and if they breach this waistline, then they're given dietary requirements without being asked whether they want it. And this is the country that gave us sumo wrestling. Okay. In some parts of Switzerland, it is illegal to flush the toilet after 10 PM. And apparently this is because in some apartment blocks it is too noisy for other residents when the toilet flushes. I don't have any other words for that. And if you do breach this, then you can find yourself with a fine if somebody actually complains, which I think is actually ridiculous. Vicks inhalers are banned in Japan, and this is because they come under their anti-stimulant drug law. Medications including codeine are also banned and should not be taken into the country. In San Francisco, it is illegal to feed the pigeons. And this is because the people of San Francisco blame pigeons for spreading disease and destroying property. If you're caught feeding the pigeons in San Francisco, then you can find yourself with a fine. But people are also encouraged to report pigeon feeders to the police. In Thailand, no one is allowed to step on the nation's currency, and if you're spotted or found doing this, then again you're going to find yourself with a fine. In Israel, you could be prosecuted for picking your nose on a Sunday. I can't find information why you're going to get prosecuted for picking your nose on a Sunday, but apparently it's a law over there. In France, apparently you are not supposed to name your pig Napoleon, but reading up on it, this isn't a law that's regularly enforced, and many of the recent presidents don't even bother actually thinking it as a law. So technically you are allowed to name your pig Napoleon, but it's a law that was enforced back in the day. Even if that was a law, you could just totally pretend that your pig's name wasn't Napoleon if someone asked, and then just call him Napoleon slyly. Like, people aren't going to report you for calling your pig Napoleon, especially if it's a family. So you could totally call your pig Napoleon around your family. In Australia, it is illegal to name an animal that you plan on eating, and you can find yourself with a fine for doing this. I'm not entirely sure how they find out if you were going to do that, because then they wouldn't know if the dead cow had a name or not, and they wouldn't know if you'd named a cow and you were planning on killing it. But apparently if you found out, then you are going to get a fine. In England, it is illegal to die in the Houses of Parliament. Not entirely sure what happens if you do die in the Houses of Parliament, because they can't exactly do anything to you because you're dead, but it's still illegal to die there. In the United Arab Emirates, it is illegal to show public affection. So if you want to hold your boyfriend or girlfriend's hand, then think again, because you can find yourself with a fine. In Canada, stores aren't legally required to accept coins. So if you wanted to be a bit of an arse, if you live in Canada and you work in a shop and someone wants to pay with coins, then you could totally turn around and say, no, I'm not accepting that. And that's totally fine. You're allowed to deny them of paying with coins. It'd be quite funny if it was your friend and like they came into the shop that you worked in and they only had like coins to pay with, and you'd be like, no, I'm not accepting that. I don't know what happens if you do want to pay with coins and then the shop denies you of paying with coins. I guess you just can't buy what you want to buy. So the last one I'm going to tell you guys about isn't one that I've seen on the internet myself. Matthew told me about it when I said I was going to film this video, and it's basically somewhere in the world, he can't remember where it was, but somewhere in the world, if you die, the punishment is death. And I'm not entirely sure how that works. I'm not sure whether they kill you again to make sure you are dead, or whether they kill someone in your family, which then leads to like a big line of people dying, because if you kill someone then you have to kill someone else. Not entirely sure, but apparently somewhere in the world that is a law. I did see one quite similar in New York, where if you jumped off a building in New York then the punishment is death. But I'm not entirely sure how reliable that one is, because people do the skydiving stuff all the time off of the buildings in New York because the buildings are tall there. So I don't know whether we can rely on that one, but I did see that on the internet as well. Anyway guys, that's all of the weird laws I've seen on the internet recently. If you've got any of your own to add, then please feel free to leave them in the comments down below. And if you've enjoyed this different type of video, then also let me know down there, because then I can start thinking about doing more videos like this. If you have enjoyed watching, then please remember to give it a big thumbs up and hit that red subscribe button down below too. It means you can come back and see more of me and come and join the party. I'd absolutely love it if you did. I'd like to thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in my next one. Bye!